I won't curse anyone, but I am perfectly happy to make them curse themselves. Let's talk about the nocebo effect. You've probably heard of the placebo effect, when a person is given, say, a sugar pill and then starts to feel better, because we can convince ourselves into that. But the placebo effect has an evil twin called the nocebo effect, which is the exact opposite. You are going to find loads of journal articles about this if you take a look, but I'm going to give you 2 examples that I got from New Scientist. First, a spiritual example, next, a medical example. Let's start with the spiritual one. I want to note this was in the United States in the late 1800s, early 1900s, different medical ethics. A man was walking around and ran into the local spiritualist who, blew some sort of very foul-smelling thing on him and then said he was going to die and there was nothing that could be done about it. Dutifully, the man went to his bed and became sicker and more emaciated. And doctors could do nothing. But eventually his wife told one of the doctors about the curse, and the doctor thought to himself that he had an idea. Please remember, medical ethics were very different back then. So the doctor said, "I'll be back tomorrow." And the next day he came back and he said that he waited in the graveyard all night and then found this magic user and choked him against a grave until the magic user explained what the hex was. And that the thing he'd blown on him had put lizard eggs into his stomach, and now there was a lizard inside of him that was eating him from the inside out, and this was the hex. And so then the doctor, with a nurse who was totally in on the charade, injected him with a strong emetic, which caused him to vomit. And he made sure to catch the vomit in a bucket. Then, using sleight of hand, he dropped a small lizard in the bucket and showed it to the man and was like, "See, we've gotten it out of you now." Got rid of the vomit and the lizard, told the man he was cured, and lo and behold, he was back to his old self within a matter of days. But what happens in a medical setting? This is a sad story that has happened more than once. A person went to the doctor found a tumor. After a few tests, the doctor declared that the tumor was cancerous, was incurable, and the patient should get his affairs in order. He had 6 months at best. And very dutifully, the patient got his affairs in order, and even more dutifully, over the following 6 months, he weakened and, well within the 6-month limit, died. After his death, there was an autopsy which found that the tumor was completely benign. The doctor had made a mistake. There was no physical reason that this man should have died. He was in perfect health. But he had believed himself to death. So in essence, the doctor, without physically doing anything, killed this patient. And this is actually why I'm very careful when I make my fake curses. I want the person to be scared and have some bad luck that they induce on themselves, but I don't want them making themselves sick or harmed. Which is why, yes, when I make these fake curses, I do actually consult with shamans to make sure it's not going too far. Because while I do use my powers for evil, I like to limit exactly how evil.